Now, I know Cain doesn't use that phrase, but please give me a little artistic license. And that artistic license is Cain goes, this is a different place than it was 5 minutes ago. Now everywhere I go, everybody's going to want to kill me. Why? Because the blood of Abel just hit the ground. And when the blood of Abel hits the ground, it's revenge, baby. It's people get what they deserve. Welcome to the real world. And in that moment, guilt is too great to bear. Cain admits it. He goes, my punishment is too great. I'm not going to be able to live through this. And God has to mark him with a seal of the righteous, or at least a seal of the merciful, so that everywhere he goes, he will at least be spared. But God tells him if a man touches you 7 times, curse is going to fall on his head. And to me, that's God's way of saying, if you play the game of Cain, and you give the people what they deserve, get ready for 7 times the hell to show up in your life, because that's what follows the civilization of Cain. And that's the world we live in. Try to hit back when they hit you and watch. They'll hit you back too. And then when you hit them back, they'll hit you back. And when you hit them back, they'll hit you back. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And we go, how do we get out of this? And we've almost given up. In the church, we've given up to the place that we go, I don't think we're going to get out of it till Jesus gets up on a horse and flies out of heaven and comes back here and gets us out of this, because God is doing his best, but it just isn't working. The church is failing. The church isn't winning, and so he's going to get his church out of the way so he can come back and do what the church failed to do. And I categorically and almost disrespectfully disagree. You are not the problem. Christ dwells in his church. Christ is the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. You have the solution to the problem. You don't need to get out of the way. You just need to get out of the system. We have lived so long in Cain's rebuttals and Cain's reciprocity and Cain's revenge, thinking that everybody should get what they deserve, everybody should get what's coming to them. And if the agency's not going to be the government, and the agency's not going to be the church, and the agency's not going to be a person, then the agency's going to have to be me. And so I'll do what I've got to do to bring justice to my little corner of the world, all the while singing our praise songs with our hands in our hair. Hands in our hair. Hands in our... Yeah. About that effective. While staring at Jesus and hoping we get to go home and be with him. All of the while, he who was slain from the foundation of the world was slain from the foundation of the world for a reason. Because from the foundation of the world, we needed it. Because we carried guilt. Cain carries guilt and shame and embarrassment, and the only way he knows how to deal with his problems in life is to kill his brother. And Cain has a great-great-grandson named Lamech. And a guy crosses him one day. Read a little further into Genesis 4, and this is what you'll stumble across. A guy crosses him one day, and Lamech kills him. And he goes to his family, and he goes, if God avenged Cain 7-fold, he's going to avenge me 77-fold. Because all this guy did to me was look at me wrong. And I killed him. And the prophecy was coming to pass. If you play Cain's game, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't get better. It just gets worse, and you carry guilt, and you carry pain, and you carry anger, and you carry shame. And then came Jesus. And Jesus said the blood of all of the prophets from righteous angels, Abel is going to be taken out upon this generation. And Christ goes to the cross, and we give 1,000 reasons for why Christ goes to the cross. And even if 2 or 3 of them are right, we get a lot of them wrong. But one of the ones that almost never gets talked about, that gets so little press, it's embarrassing considering that the blood of righteous Abel has been screaming out, begging for something to take its place.